my name is Elizabeth. This is Frizzy Lizzie Stitches. Today is October the 31st, 2022. Happy Halloween. And this is Flosstube number 31. Okay, so first, I'm very satisfied that my 31st episode is on the 31st of the month. My favorite month, no less. And if you can't tell, I am wearing a costume since it is Halloween. This is a recycled costume from when I was in college. I believe I've talked about it before because I actually embroidered all of these patches on, I'm Russell from Up. So I embroidered all these patches on Russell's like Boy Scout uniform. So I am gonna take this off so I can show you up close kind of a lot of these patches that I made. So I basically just like found a screenshot from the movie that had a good visual of his sash and just picked my favorite ones because I was not gonna make that many. I made what, 3 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I made 20 because I didn't make one here. This is actually this is a Disney pin. It's the grape soda badge, which if you've seen the movie, you'll understand. But yeah, I think my favorites of the ones that I made here are probably the Pixar ball. I really like this toothpaste on the toothbrush, and probably the little Band-Aid. The Band-Aid's cool. So anyway, yeah, that was a big adventure. In fact, I guess I was like maybe a junior in college when I did this. So yeah. But anyway, I figured, you know, since it's Halloween, we should, and this is something that I made, then we should just, you know, take advantage of the opportunity. So here I am. Anyway, it's been about 2 weeks since my last video. I have stitched on 4 projects since then. 2 of them I put a ton of progress on because I made quite a ridiculous goal for myself, which we'll get into in a minute. But yeah, Bobby and I did have our engagement photos taken, I guess, like a week and a half ago now, and so we're supposed to get our photos from then this week, so I'm super excited. The photographer did post like a little sneak on her Instagram, so I have seen like 4 of the pictures, and they look really good, so I'm really excited to see what the rest of them look like. And also, I am very obsessed with Taylor Swift's new album, so if you like pop music, go listen to it because she's amazing. So yeah. And then I am going to have another book segment at the end because I have read quite a lot of spooky books this month. So we're going to wrap up with the spookiness, and I have ideas for what I'm going to read in November, but I'm just going to share one book with you for what I'm going to read next. So yeah. So I guess we can just go ahead and get into the stitching now. Okay, so first things first, I have a finish. This is Caterpillar Cross Stitch Touch of Magic. I'm not going to show you any pictures because it's finished now, but here's what it looks like. So I finished this on October the 24th. I had started it on May the 24th of this year. Yeah, so let's see. In the past 2 weeks, I stitched on this for 3 hours, and that pretty much was the word broomsticks, except for the last 3 letters I had already done. So it basically was B-R-O-O-M-S-T-I, and then this leaf, and then I did put my initials and the year at the bottom corner right there. I did like put it down here because I didn't really think it fit anywhere else, and I didn't want to distract from anything else on here. But yeah, I'm super excited with how this looks. I'm glad that it's done. It feels very satisfying to have started this project and finished it in the same year. Kind of like I also did with Unplug and Go Outside over there. But yeah, so I am gonna finish this into a wall hanging, but it is not gonna happen this year. It will just, maybe I'll do it sometime so that I can have it on display for Halloween next year. But yeah, so that's how that looks. And the total amount of stitching time that I spent on this project was 56 hours and 24 minutes. So I always find it really interesting to see how long it takes to stitch something. And I think this is like 160 by 200 or something. So it is a big, I guess a bigger project. But yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to say about this. I don't think so. It's stitched on 32 count, even weave, that was in the kit, DMC, all that good stuff. So my next project is one that I set a really crazy goal for myself for, which I didn't really think was crazy at the time until I started trying to do it. So this is Halloween Quaker by Lila Studio. I don't know where the thing is. Oh, it's in here. I forget that I have the cover image for this. So this is what it looks like. This is, I'm stitching everything as called for. So 40 count murky with the Classic Colorworks flosses. And yeah, so my goal this month was to stitch 10 hours on it. And like most things, I saved that 10 hours until like the last half of the month. So anyway, this is what it looked like last time I showed it to you. And this is what it looks like now. So this is 10 hours of progress. Very kind of like, it's really kind of cool to see that this is what 10 hours looks like, I guess for me anyway. But let me see if I can hold this with one hand. So basically I got all of this motif, all of this one, and then I started on this pumpkin, the spider, and some of the letters for, this is gonna say Happy Halloween. So yeah, these motifs it's a lot of stitches. Like this is 40 count, and like it's already like as big as my hand. So it's a lot of stitches. I think this is like, let's see, it's 261 by 180. So this is a big project. I have no like set goal for when I want this to be done. I just like having it to stitch on during October. So this is the second year that I've worked on it. I started it last year and I didn't really put too much progress in. So I'm very happy to have this done because this is basically a page finish because, oh, let me go back to the one hand. This is basically a page finish because the page is kind of like half of that motif and then like half of this spider motif. So yeah, anyway, but that's what it's looking like. Also, if you are stitching this or want to stitch this, there is a hashtag that you can use or follow to see everybody else's project. It's called Spooky Quaker Sal. This is hosted by Heather the 20 Minute Stitcher and Bridget the Museum Stitcher. So go check out their channels, go follow the hashtag if you're interested, and it'll be really cool to see like everybody's project and kind of like what different fabrics people choose and whatnot. So yep. Okay, so next I crack myself up because every time I'm editing my video and then I come back from taking like a break, I always say okay. And so all my clips are okay. Okay. Anyway, the next project is Possum Song by Mama Witch Cross Stitch. This is what it's going to look like, and this is what it looked like last time I showed it to you. And let's see. I'm trying to hold up a project bag behind it so you can see it. This is what it looks like now. So I also made a goal to stitch on this for 10 hours and also saved it till the second half of the month. So yeah, I stitched a lot the last 2 weeks because I was trying to meet my 10-hour goals for this and my 10-hour goal for Halloween Quaker. So, but all the border that you see there is what I accomplished in the 10 hours that I worked on this. So it is definitely a lot closer to a finish than it was. I actually am gonna try to continue stitching on this next month since it is like fall vibes and not purely Halloween. And we'll see how much more of that border I can get done. So, but yeah, I'm super excited with how this is looking. I haven't done any of the back stitch yet, so the banjo doesn't have strings, and then like these little flowers right here that look kind of weird, they have like back stitch stems that are just not there because I haven't done it yet. So, last but certainly not least is a Christmas pattern. I'm doing the Stitch into Christmas stitch along with Caterpillar Cross Stitch. And I have fallen woefully behind because I've been so addicted to my spooky stitches. But I did put in another block on this pattern. So this is what it's going to look like. And this is what it looked like last time I showed it to you. and this is what it looks like now. So it is itsy bitsy teeny weeny. I added this ornament block right there. This is, oh, the lighting kind of washed me out there. This is, let's see, that looks very yellow. Okay, I think because this fabric is so dark, it just doesn't, like, when it focuses on it, the lighting goes all whack. Anyway, this is 28 count even weave, and it, I'm stitching it 1/1. So that's why it's so tiny. This is only like half the fabric that, like, because there's the other half over here. Anyway, so I have it folded in half. But yeah. So that's what it's looking like. This is also going to be another focus of mine for next month, just because we are getting close to, well, when Halloween is over, I like immediately start getting out Christmas stuff. So yeah, there's several memes about that. Like, but the one that comes to mind is the one of Dwight Schrute where he's like got the pumpkin head and it's like October 31st, and then November 1st he's like dressed as an elf. So anyway, okay, that's Stitch into Christmas. I only stitched on this for like an hour and a half, but I was able to do that whole little ornament in an hour and a half. So you definitely can make really fast progress on this if you just keep working on it. But like I said, I had lots of other things that I was working on that took away from working on this one. So anyway, that's Stitch into Christmas. So the next thing I wanted to talk about were my plans for November as far as stitching things go. This past October, since I did like a spooky like Halloween whip parade thing, and I made like certain goals for myself to work on those projects, it kind of really inspired me to continue that pattern. So I have picked a few projects. So last time I picked 6 projects, and that was quite a lot, I have to say, especially since 2 of those, well, so 2 of those were finishes, and 2 of those were stitch on for 10 hours. So actually, let's just review it so we can, you know, acknowledge our goals here. So for my goals for October, we're to stay caught up on Haunted Library. Sadly, that did not happen. I fell woefully behind because of the other goals that I set for myself. Finish Touch of Magic, check. 10 hours on Halloween Quaker, check. 10 hours on Possum Song, check. Finish Reaping Love, check. And start Frankenstein, which I also was able to do. Even though I only worked on it for like 30 minutes, I still started it. So anyway, but that was, like I said, that was a lot of things to try to accomplish in 1 month. So I have scaled back the number of goals for November. Instead of 6, I'm planning on doing 4. And anything I want to do more than that is just a bonus cherry on top. So first things first, the 2 projects that I just showed you that will be continuing on into November are going to be Stitch into Christmas. And my goal for this is just going to be catch up as much as I can. There's like 3 parts out right now, and this is like half of part 1. So yeah, but I'm not gonna like, you know, bend over backwards and break my neck trying to catch up with this. I'm just gonna do my best. And then the next one that I'm gonna continue on with is Possum Song. Instead of 10 hours, my goal is to stitch 5 hours on this. And then if I have time and want to keep working on it, then that's great. So those are the first 2 goals. The second 2 goals are, I just pulled 2 projects from my whip stash, which is I guess my whips are like around 10 or 12 right now. So the first one is in a project bag that I made. It's Sweet as Pie by Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. My goal for the year on this was to stitch 1 pie a month, and the last pie I stitched was in August. So I only have 6 pies. There are 6 more pies, and if I want to be on track to finish in March, or I guess, yeah, finish in March before Pie Day, which is when I started this project this year, then I need to stitch 3 pies this month. 3 pies this month to catch up. I'm not worried that that's going to take a lot of time because these pies come up really quickly. So yeah, my goal for November is to stitch 3 pies, and that would be like August, September, wait, hold on, March, April, May, June, July, August. Okay, so it would be September, October, and November pies that I would be working on. So I'm just gonna pick the next 3 pies that show up on the chart. So that's one of my goals. And then the last one is to put some progress in on StitchCon, which is a Sue Hillis design that she created for StitchCon this last year. It looks like this. So I started this, I don't know, maybe like August or something. But this is all I have so far. Which I checked my Toggle app, T-O-G-G-L. That's what I use to track the time that I spend on these projects, to see how much time I had spent on this already, and it was like 4.5, somewhere between 4.5 and 5 hours. So if I was able to do all this in 5 hours, I feel like I should make a decent chunk. So my goal for this month is to stitch 5 hours on this project. And like I said, if I surpass that, then that's great. But I really did, even though I met pretty much all my goals that I made for myself last month, even though they were kind of ridiculous, it was kind of stressful because I was like, I really was just like pushing myself, and I'm just gonna try to tone it down a bit. So anyway, those are the 4 projects that I am gonna be focusing on for November. So you're gonna have to stay tuned to see how well I stick to that. But yeah, so that's kind of all the stitchy stuff that I have to talk about today. I feel like I know I accomplished a lot, but it's just like, I feel like I talk through everything so fast. You'll have to let me know. But anyway, I am done talking about stitching. I'm going to talk about books now. So if you don't want to hear about books, then thanks for joining us, and I will talk to you in about 2 weeks. And I hope you have a very happy Halloween, whether you're passing out candy or doing some sort of activity or trick-or-treating with your kids or whatever. Have fun, be safe, and I will see you guys in 2 weeks. Okay, so books. We all know, I've been a reading fiend the past few months, and that's not going to slow down anytime soon. So I actually, on top of all the stitchy goals that I made for myself and that I've been trying to accomplish, I also have been doing the same like thing with reading. So anyway, there's a book that I'm going to show you that I'm like halfway through. I have 200 pages left, and my goal is to finish it today. And it is almost 3 o'clock, so hopefully I can do that. Thankfully, like, Bobby's working long call. I don't have to wake up early, so like I could just stay up as late as I need to do that. But it's also a really good book, so it should go by pretty fast. But anyway, I'm getting off track. So I'm gonna do my I guess, what did I abbreviated it so that it sounded like it was something of a segment. Oh, then, now, and next. I don't know if that's really catchy or not, but the book I just finished reading is Angelika Frankenstein Makes Her Match by Sally Thorne. This is a book that I think came out like a few months ago, but she wrote it during 2020, so that kind of explains why it's such a silly, goofy, weird book from Sally Thorne, because most of her stuff is like, you know, contemporary rom-com stuff. So this is kind of a different kind of twist, because it's, I guess, like I don't want to call historical fiction, but it definitely is like, it takes place in like, I guess 1860 or whatever time Frankenstein existed that Mary Shelley created and wrote about. But anyway, basically, just like the title of this book sounds, Angelika Frankenstein, Victor Frankenstein's sister, makes herself a boyfriend. Since she comes from, or I guess, since her family is known for being very weird and eccentric, she can't seem to get a boyfriend or a suitor or whatever. And so she's like in her 20s, and so she just kind of, she's been her brother's assistant in the lab, and so then she and her brother kind of come up with this idea to just make her a suitor, so that she doesn't have to, like, you know, wither away and die alone. So anyway, but yeah, this book started off weird, and I really didn't know how I felt about it. But once I got into it, like, Angelika became a lot more likable. She had really good character development. I definitely had to push myself through to finish it, but it wasn't like terrible, but it wasn't fantastic either. So I gave it a 3-star rating. I definitely would recommend it if you have nothing better to do and this sounds interesting to you. So that's kind of it for this one. Okay, and the book that I'm reading now is The Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrix. I love this book so far. I'm like halfway through. There's there's literally 400 pages and I'm on page 200. So yeah, anyway, this book focuses on, the main character is Patricia Campbell, and she is your basic suburban housewife, or I guess stay-at-home mom, and her whole life is, you know, taking care of the house and feeding her family and getting her kids to their events and stuff. And so she kind of becomes like bored with her routine, and the book club that she's in like the person who runs it is like very stingy and like kind of like makes them read all these books they don't really want to read, and it's kind of like going to school. It's not really like fun, like chatty. And so she ends up kind of merging with a new group of friends, and they have their own little book club where they read like true crime and things like that. And so it's really cute because then this guy moves in across the street who, by the title of this book, you can guess is a vampire. I'm pretty sure that says that in the little synopsis. But anyway, like, he's a very likable dude. She becomes friends with him, but then like all these things start happening, and so then she starts kind of questioning him. And I'm getting to the part where she's trying to tell other people what she thinks is happening before things get out of hand, but nobody believes her. So anyway, I'm really excited to continue reading this. And like I said, my goal is to finish this today because I really want to include this in my October reads. So anyway, but this will be my last spooky book for the season. And I think that's all I have to say about this. So, but it's definitely on track to be like a 4 or 5 star read. So, okay, and last but not least, the book that I'm going to be reading after that is none other than A Court of Thorn and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. This, if you read at all, or if you see book content online, you have heard of this book, and if not, then you are just simply living under a rock. I believe this book was actually published in like 2015, but it wasn't until, I guess, like Book Talk really became a thing that this kind of like really hit off. And so there's like a big like fan base for this series, as well as a bunch of other fantasy series that are popping up nowadays. But anyway, I was tired of like hearing about it. I want to know what the hype is about. So I'm actually reading this with my friends, and I'm gonna have to read this pretty quickly because we're supposed to meet on like the second week of November to talk about this. So anyway, I've heard that it's spicy, I've heard that it's cringy, I've heard that I don't really know anything about the plot. I think I know some of the characters' names, but and on the back I think it said, or maybe it doesn't. I heard somewhere, I don't know if I read it like on like the display at Barnes & Noble or something, but somewhere I read that this is like a retelling of Beauty and the Beast, so I'm kind of interested to see how that kind of plays into it. But yeah, so this is going to be the next book that I read. And that is all I have for you today. So thank you so much for joining me and putting up with my silly costume and seeing my projects, listening to the books I talked about, all that good stuff. I will be back again in 2 weeks with another Flosstube, and if you stay tuned for tomorrow, there will be a bullet journal video of me setting up my November pages in my bullet journal. So yeah, keep an eye out for that, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!